Welcome back to English from A to Z, English in real life. Today we're going to dive into something, well, it's a pretty radical new way to think about accent training. Forget just listening and repeating. We're talking about building a physical, systematic blueprint to master the American accent from the inside out. Let's get right into it.
So, let's kick things off with a question that I know drives so many learners crazy. You've practiced for hours, right? You can make every single sound perfectly by itself. But then, when you start speaking, something just feels off. It doesn't sound natural, and you can't for the life of you figure out why. It's an incredibly common problem, and the solution isn't about practicing harder. It's about building a completely new physical foundation from the ground up.
And that foundation, it all starts with this idea of an accent home base. Now get this, it's not really a sound you make, it's more of a physical position you hold. Think of it as a point of stability and total relaxation that your mouth can always come back to. It's the secret sauce that underpins everything else. So let's find it.
We call this home base the center of gravity, and it's all wrapped up in one single crucial sound, You know, the sound in words like cup or some. This isn't just another vowel on the list. Oh no. This is the anchor for your entire accent. It's the completely relaxed, default posture that every other sound launches from. Seriously, mastering this one physical position is the single most important first step you can take. Now, this center of gravity works in two really cool ways. When you say that sound all by itself, that's what we call the full posture. You're using 100% of that position. But here's where the real magic happens, the undercurrent. As you make other sounds, you should always keep a tiny little bit, maybe 20%, of that relaxed feeling underneath everything. It's this constant, subtle posture that keeps every other sound grounded and connected. So, how do we actually build this? How do we take our new home base and use it to basically reconstruct all the other sounds? Well, that brings us to our very first core exercise. It's a simple loop you can use to build every single sound correctly, from scratch, using your new center of gravity. Okay, this workout, it's just 3 parts. First, you're going to isolate the sound you're working on just to find its basic position. Second, you transition from your home base into that sound and then back out again. This is what builds that crucial muscle memory of moving from a state of total relaxation. And finally, the jumping test. You jump really quickly from to the sound. This is the real test. It proves you can snap into that correct position instantly without any of that old tension creeping back in. And this is so important. The goal here isn't just to make the right sound, it's about getting the right quality. Are you holding that core posture? Is your voice low and coming from an open throat? Is the resonance in the right place? It's all about the physical feeling, not just what you hear. And that right there is the difference between just mimicking an accent and truly mastering it. To help you with that, here's a little sensory checklist you can run through in your head while you practice. Okay, where is your tongue resting? Do you feel the sides just lightly touching your back teeth? Is your voice low, coming from a totally open throat? Can you feel that resonance vibrating in the back of your mouth? Keep checking in with your body and just keep adjusting until the sound feels absolutely effortless.
This brings us to what might be the most counterintuitive and honestly, the biggest secret to getting a natural American accent. You need to sound lazy. And by lazy, I mean completely, utterly relaxed. This isn't about being sloppy or mumbling, it's about getting rid of every last bit of unnecessary effort and tension.
And this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It says, American English is more about letting go of tension and using just the minimum amount required to fully produce the sounds. See? It's not about forcing your mouth into shapes, it's about releasing tension and using the absolute bare minimum effort needed, all while holding that core posture. The goal is efficiency and ease, not brute force.
So, in your actual practice, this means you gotta watch out for these super common tension traps. Don't push down too hard trying to find that feeling, and don't press your tongue hard against your teeth. any of that extra pressure or lifting the tongue too steeply just creates tension. But the biggest trap of all, unconsciously holding on to the physical posture from your native language. You have to actively, consciously let it go. Okay, so once you've successfully rebuilt your individual sounds from that relaxed home base, the next logical step is to start assembling them into words. Let's see how this whole system works in practice. We're going to start with a really simple, super common phrase, see that. We're going to break it down piece by piece and see exactly how our new system applies. First things first, we have to identify the component parts. This short little phrase is actually made up of 5 distinct sounds: s, e, th, a, and te. Now the real question is, where in the mouth are these sounds actually being made? And here is the key insight, the big aha moment. Every single one of those 5 sounds is made with the front of the tongue. So what should the rest of your tongue be doing? Absolutely nothing. Zero. It should stay completely stable and relaxed, just holding that 20% undercurrent from your home base. If you feel the back of your tongue lifting up when you say see, that's a red flag. You're adding tension and you've lost your posture. Okay. That was a pretty straightforward one. But what happens with more complex phrases, where your tongue has to, dance all over the place inside your mouth? This is where understanding the principle of release becomes absolutely essential. Let's actually map out the tongue's journey for the phrase, the one I saw. Just look at this. For the word one, it travels from the back to the middle to the front. For I, it zips back again. But the key action here isn't just the movement itself, it's the release. After you make a sound, like the W in one or the S in saw, the part of the tongue you just used has to fully relax back towards your home base. It's this constant dance between activation and relaxation. Now, trying to maintain that relaxed posture during a long, complex phrase is tough. Tension just loves to creep back in. So I've got one final, super powerful technique to fix this. Think of it as your reset button. And the technique is so simple. You just intentionally stick a relaxed sound in between each word, like this. One, I, saw. This does 2 amazing things. First, it literally forces your mouth to return to its relaxed home base after every single word. And second, it's a diagnostic tool. If that you say after a word sounds tight or strained, you know that specific word is what created the tension. It's an incredible way to pinpoint exactly where you need to focus on relaxing. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? A natural accent isn't just about the sounds you make. It's about the relaxed physical posture you make them from. And that leads me to a final question for you. What's the one sound that gives you the most trouble? Maybe, just maybe, that's the very first sound you should take back to the lab and rebuild from scratch, starting from your new home base.